From scientists inserting memory chips into humans to two-headed dogs being created. Let's talk about all this and more only in today's video. And if you haven't seen the other two parts to the series as well, then make sure to check them out. Starting off this countdown, we have the remote control bullfight. Spanish neurologist Jose Delgado has managed to control wild animals by using electrical stimulation. So in 1964, he put himself in front of a 250-kilogram fighting bull, and then he enticed it. The bull came sprinting towards him, but with a click of a button on his remote control, the bull stopped. This was due to the fact that he had placed radio-controlled electrodes in the bull's brain a few days prior. This dude literally found a way to tame wild animals, which might seem cool, you know, but that's all we need, humans interfering more with nature than we already have. Coming in at number 9, we have the elephant on acid. On Friday, August 3rd of 1962, a group of Oklahoma scientists decided to give an elephant LSD to see how it would react. So they filled a syringe with 297 milligrams of LSD and inserted it into the elephant's bum. Now, 297 milligrams is a lot. Like, that's 3,000 times the typical human dose. Why did they give the elephant that much? Well, they literally thought we better go big or go home. And as a result, the elephant went mad, like literally insane. He got highly aggressive and was secreting a sticky fluid from its temporal glands. They tried to save the elephant with antipsychotics, but sadly it died an hour later. They're not sure if the LSD itself killed it, the dosage, or the antipsychotic. Still, this experiment was met with tons of controversy. In our 8th spot, we have the two-headed dog. In 1954, a man named Vladimir Demikov decided to graft a puppy to the neck of an older dog. Why? Well, he claims this was part of a series of experiments to figure out better surgical techniques. His goal in the end was to be able to successfully perform a human heart and lung transplant. So he practiced this on dogs. In total, he created 20 of these two-headed dogs. He would do this by grafting the head and shoulders and front legs of a puppy onto the neck of an older dog. The dogs were able to simultaneously eat and drink, but the things that the puppy ingested would just dribble out the back. Of course, sadly, none of these dogs lived very long. Most of the time, it's because of tissue rejection. The longest one of these two-headed dogs ever lived was for a month. Coming in at number 7, we had the conversion. In 1954, James Old and Peter Milner decided to try and get homosexual males to become straight. They tried to do this through electrical brain stimulation. Basically, they would stimulate the pleasure sensor areas of the brain to see if this would lead to sexual arousal to someone of the opposite sex. They tried this with a patient they referred to as B19. He was a gay man. But using the electrical stimulation in the brain, they got him to engage in sexual activity with a willing female participant. But it's not like they converted him forever. He still had gay tendencies, but also he liked women now. So they got him from being gay to bisexual. Thankfully, after this, they didn't try to convert any more homosexuals. That is highly controversial and wrong in a number of ways. Moving on at number 6, we have the dog's heads. What's with mad scientists and their sick tendencies to practice experiments on dogs? It all started with a Soviet physician, Sergei Brokoniko. He wondered if it was possible for someone to still live after their head had been chopped off by the guillotine. So he created something known as an autojector, basically a device that could keep a head alive while being separated from its body. He started by running experiments on dogs. He would chop their heads off and then attach this device to them. And he was actually successful. He managed to keep a dog alive while using this device. The dog would respond to stimuli and eat when it was given food. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the test subjects. For 20 years, Dr. Albert M. Kligman used prison inmates to test a number of substances on. Some weren't so bad. They were just shampoo or deodorant, foot powder, etc. But then he started to test more dangerous things on them, like poisons, mind-altering drugs, and radioactive isotopes. He did so to study how the human body would react to such things. Later, it was found out that he was specifically targeting black men and was running highly unethical experiments on them. These men didn't have a say in what was being done to them. In our fourth spot, we have the depressed monkeys. Again, we have another sadistic scientist out here torturing animals. This one ran experiments on monkeys. So a man named Harry Harlow decided to see how strong a baby's connection is with their mother. For these experiments, he used baby monkeys and their moms. Here's the thing. He had this disturbing machine that would force monkeys to mate. Then he would basically torture the baby monkeys. His most controversial experiment was a device he called the Pit of Despair. Basically, he would place the newborn monkey in a small isolated chamber for periods up to a year. No contact with any living creature whatsoever. The monkeys ended up having serious problems that they couldn't grow out of. In our third spot, we have sand fleas. Sand fleas are pretty nasty creatures. They will burrow into your body and then produce eggs inside of you. And it takes 4 to 6 weeks before they actually die inside of you. Just the thought of these things gives me the creeps. Well, turns out that researchers didn't know much about their reproductive lives. So a researcher decided to let a sand flea live inside of her foot for 2 months. Yes, she willingly did this in the name of research. No, thank you. The only thing worse than bugs are bugs inside of your body. But I guess this experiment paid off because she learned so much about the insects this way. And that, my friend, is called dedication. In our second spot, we have Stanley Milgram. Chances are maybe you've heard about him and his experiment in psych class. If not, buckle up because it is wild. So Stanley Milgram's test set out to test our obedience to authority figures. Participants were told that they were to deliver an electric shock to a person in the other room. The shock started from 15 volts and ended in 450 volts, so the amount administered would increase. However, they did not see the person that they were giving the shocks to. And don't worry, the person wasn't actually getting shocked, but they didn't know that. And as they were giving these people the shocks, they could hear them screaming and crying in pain to get let out. They wanted to see if the person would listen to their own instinct and be like, this is wrong, let the man go, or if they were going to continue to obey the authority figure that they were listening to. The results were shocking. Pun not intended. Milgram found that a full 65% of the subjects administered the final and fatal 450 volt electric shock. This was done despite showing that they were uncomfortable doing so. Now, there's a lot that we can learn about this experiment. You should watch videos on it after this video is done. It's quite dark, but interesting, but also disturbing, so maybe don't. Like, that's why it's on today's list. Anyway, and in our number one spot today, we have the tracking device. In 1999, the first radio frequency identification device was implanted into a human. Now, companies, prisons, and hospitals have FDA approval to implant these into individuals. Companies could do so with their employees, prisons would implant them in their prisoners, and hospitals their patients. From there, they can track where these people are going. In fact, a Mexican attorney general already got 18 of his staff members chipped. It's creepy and it's controlling, and I'm not ready to go down that path. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments below. Do you want to see part 4? Let me know. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 10 Terrifying Ancient Medical Practices. Mark Jeffels commented, people today are just as stupid with trends, Lindsay. I guess so. Like the dumb TikTok trends that have people getting injured, don't do it. Just maybe not, okay? That's a little tip from me to you. Joy Whitney commented, have you ever milked a cow or bottle fed a calf? Now, people that are new to this channel is probably like, what the heck is this comment? I absolutely love cows, so that's why they commented this. I have not milked a cow or bottle fed a calf. I would absolutely love to. I have pet cows and played with cows, but no, sadly, I have never done the milking. It's quite interesting. I've seen it get done. They put the little, it's not bromine or whatever, the brown stuff that they go on the udders. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop now. If you know, you know. If you don't, then it's okay. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. Bye!